Hey, it's Eagle Shadow once again, bringing you a tutorial on how to make a basic balanced loadout to start playing co-op or PvP with. Once you feel comfortable using the default units to beat solo games, you can start experimenting with new units. This tutorial is made to show you a general loadout for any mech, and it will go from looking like this to this. Alright, so how do we do that? Well, we have to arrange our units and buy them in the shop, so we'll only be using the hangar and the shop tab to do this, where you can buy units, then arrange them to your liking. How do we arrange them? To arrange them, you click on the unit slot you want to replace. I want to replace this no unit slot with a unit, so I'm going to click on it. This brings up a menu of all the units you own. So we need to click on that spot again that you are replacing on the right, so it starts blinking like this. Then you can click on a unit on the left that you want to replace it with. So I want to replace it with this unit. So I click on it and it pops right into that spot. You can also, if I want to put that no unit spot back, you can drag any unit from the left to the right to that spot. You drag it in and it pops right in there. There's a search bar to find units, so you can search for them, or you can scroll through them using the mouse or these tabs. You'll need a good amount of kudos to buy the units you want to use in the shop tab, unless you have Prime, in which case you already have most of the units. Let's go over to the shop tab. The shop tab can be overwhelming for a lot of new players, but just remember the basic unit types. Many units here are just variants of the default units with slightly different stats. I'm not going to go into all of those variants in this video, so we'll just keep the 4 default units we have in our hangar and fill in the rest of the empty slots with other unit subtypes. The first unit subtype are socket units. You may have noticed in-game there are circular pods connected to bases or posts. Well, there are specific units that only work when placed on them, called socket units. The most important socket unit you need to know is called a moneymaker, so I'm going to search that in the units in the shop tab. Moneymakers, also referred to as MMs in game, shockingly generate money over time, which can be used to create more units in game. They are a necessity for any player, and almost all sockets should be filled with these. So we can click on them, buy them, and put them in our hangar. So we're going to click on the spot we want to put the moneymakers in. So the menu pops up, we search moneymaker, find it, drag over to the spot, plop it down, and now it is in our loadout. Next, there are 3 other main types of sockets. Next one is generators. Generators increase the amount of units allowed on the battlefield. So as the in-game progresses, you should replace your moneymakers with generators. You're going to need to find a balance, however, so you can't just have all generators or all moneymakers. And then next socket is the lunchbox. Lunchboxes provide extra armor for bases or posts. You only need 1 per base, and they are very useful to deter from drops. Last but not least, for socket units we have the leveler. Levelers increase your in-game level rate so you can get more abilities faster. It's not necessary at this stage in the game, and I'll discuss it further in my intermediate tutorial. Moneymakers are necessary for all games, generators and lunchboxes only if you're playing with friends on a team in 2v2 or 3v3, then you can each bring 1. For now, we'll only put moneymakers in our hangar. Second subtype to fill our loadout is anti-air. Anti-air has the opposite job of a tank because it shoots only air, not only ground, so it shoots Airmechs out of the sky. The most popular anti-air is called the Seekers. So Seekers shoot missiles at Mechs and they kill them. They are good for defending your socket units, your other units, your bases. So we can buy that and then put that in our hangar. So we click on this spot, search for Seeker, and drag and drop. A stronger but more expensive and immobile anti-air is called a hat. So hats, rather than shooting missiles, they shoot bullets. So there are again variants for the different subtypes and default types. Moving on to the third unit type, it's called artillery. So if we search art in here, we get all of the artillery. Artillery are long-range, immobile units, and they shoot automatically as long as enemy units are in their range, and they have splash damage so they can hit multiple units at the same time. It's easy to see their range in-game as long as the range indicator setting is on, so you know if they're going to be able to shoot enemy units or not. They are a pretty advanced unit type, but very helpful for battles. I would recommend the Archie to start off because it is very versatile. So go ahead and buy that, and we'll put it into our hangar. Archie. It's right here, so we drag and drop. And then last but not least, we have the support unit type. Now rather than search for the support units, there's actually a tab over here that you can click on, and if you click support, it shows all of the support units Airmech has. So support units heal your units on the battlefield without you having to micro them, pick them up, and bring them over to your outpost to heal them. They do it automatically. So you can put them behind your tanks and they will be healed as the tanks are damaged. The two most popular ones are kind of the trucks of the support units. They are the Patcher and the Ratchet. So if you're a little low on credits, I would recommend the Patcher, but if you have plenty, I would buy the Ratchet since it's overall a better healing unit. So I'm going to go over to the hangar and put in Ratchets for our last unit in our loadout. Alright, now we have a balanced unit loadout, so we can move on to pilots and items. Feel free to experiment with the variants I talked about of the 8 unit types to find a combination that suits your playstyle. I'll go into more detail in some of my other videos of some of those variants. Alright, pilots. So your pilot is in the middle of your units. It's this shadow of a pilot. So pilots give positive and negative stats, but are always overall beneficial. They really depend on your mech and playstyle. But I would start off with the one you chose in your introduction to the game. Some other examples I will show you. One is Lexi. She is good for high attack and damage, but has a lower armor. Another one is Kira over here. She's good if you're not very good at the game and you die a lot because she has a low respawn time. And then a third one is right here. She is Natasha. She is good for mechs that use a lot of energy because she has high airspeed and energy efficiency. And then most of the fancy pilots down here have a normal counterpart, and so those are just for looks. So I think I'll choose Natasha for now. Alright, so after pilots comes items. They are under this big mech here. It's this black box. Items are similar to pilots because they give passive positive stats, and the choice of item depends on your playstyle. So as you can see, I have quite a collection of items. You will gain a collection similar to mine over time, so you can choose whatever item you want. A good balanced starter item is probably Total Biscuit's top hat, so I'll click on that one. Alright, so next to this item is this question mark or maybe a blue box. This is your color for your mechs and outposts. There are blue, red, green, and carbon, which is black and orange. So if you click on this, it'll come up with all the ones you've bought. You can buy others in the shop tab. They're not sellable on the market, however. So it changes the color of your units and outposts, as I said, and then as you can see, some of them I've bought the second square or even the third square. There are 4 squares altogether. The more squares you have, the higher chance you have of being that color in game. If your enemy has more squares of that color than you do, they get to be that color. So that's why it's good to buy more squares for your colors. So I'll just choose blue, I guess. Alright, over here are Guardians. The Guardians are very advanced, and you shouldn't really worry about them right now. They're not for beginners, but there are 4 types that fly around with your mech and give you boosts, like this one that gives healing, or this one that gives more damage. So that's a little overview of Guardians. Now the little mech button to the right of your item just toggles between air or ground mode in your hangar for the big mech. If we were to click on this big mech, which you can do, you can change your mech class. So more mechs are unlocked as you level up, but once you're a certain level, they're all available to try out and play with in-game as long as you want. However, if you want to access these things over on the right that I'll talk about, you must purchase them for kudos. So these things over on the right, I'll start over farthest and go back towards the left. So these are pets. Pets are things that fly around your Airmech. They don't really do anything, but they're kind of cool to look at while you're in game. So if you click on one, you could buy tons of pets in the shop, and lots of people sell them on the market, so I have quite a few here. So if I click on it, it goes and it will follow me in game now. And then these cosmetics, similar to pets, they don't do anything, but they do things such as change your bullet color or leave contrails behind as you fly. So you can click on one of those. And then you can copy and paste your cosmetics, so if you can put them on all your skins. For instance, I want to copy this particular setup, so I click the copy button here, and then if I go to a new skin or mech, like this striker variant, I can click the paste button, and then they will go to the ones that I copied. So that's kind of cool. And then these skins down here you can purchase for diamonds. Again, they don't do anything, but they look cool. Like, look how cool this thing is. Much cooler than this, even though, I mean, Airmech is all cool, but you know, they make it extra cool with skins. Alright, moving on towards the left. These are called parts. You should really only experiment with parts if you are an experienced player and know a lot about the mech you want to play in. Parts change your mech stats so you can fine-tune what kind of playstyle you want, even more than if you chose a pilot and an item. So there are some that are pretty universal, and there's 4 types of parts. Like, these are your engines, these are your weapon parts, these are your structure parts, and then these are your special parts. So a universal part for all mechs that is good is the blueprinted turbine. So if you really want some parts and you have some extra kudos to spend, you can buy some of these units I'm about to say. So the first one is the blueprinted turbines. And then in the structure parts, you can buy boosted actuators, which are good, and then alien metal, which is part of the Alienware bundle. And now all of these have mostly positive stats. They have very little negative stats. And then in your special parts, you can do a radar booster and inertial dampeners. So this is a universally good part setup for any mech. Now you can change them even more specialized, and I'll be making tutorials on the specific mechs that they will go into more detail about their parts. One last tidbit, you can rename your loadouts just like you would your custom games by clicking on them. And so you can type, like, this is my striker loadout, and so that does that. And if we go back to the main hangar, you can buy up to 8 separate loadouts, so you can have one for every mech or have one for PvP, co-op, and survival, or whatever you want. The first few cost kudos, and then as you get higher up in the numbers, you cost diamonds, so you can buy them for diamonds or kudos like that. So this was a basic hangar tutorial. Unfortunately, there is no perfect loadout that will allow you to win every game you play if you do it, but hopefully this loadout is a generic loadout for any mech, and it will give you the tools you need to succeed in Airmech and be the best player you can be. So be sure to check out my other tutorials for gameplay and overview of the rest of the menu. And thank you for watching, and have a great day. This was Eagle Shadow. Please like and subscribe, and download this awesome game of Airmech. Thanks, and bye.